something I actually started as a small kid. My first rescue cat, I was in class 6. I found some kittens in a fence and I just took them home. One of the reasons why I do this work, it is very emotionally satisfying, especially when you get an animal from trouble, or a starved animal, an injured animal, after rehabilitation or fostering it, and it gets to a good home, and finally the adopters are sending you nice pictures of the animal settling in. It's actually very emotionally satisfying. We spend around 100k on food. Vet bills, sometimes they are 150 plus some other expenses like transport, of course, like when you rescue a dog from a far place and you have to take it to the vet. I currently run with sponsors. Some help monthly, some do help on a need to help basis. I have been doing this in, I'll say, small scale. I started off with fostering one dog. At that time I was living in a very tiny space, so I used to keep maybe 1 or 2 puppies at a time before they get adopted. But slowly by slowly they became too many to help, and I had to move to a bigger space. Currently I am at a population of 16 dogs at home, and I also do have some around 14 cats. I also help feed some strays in 𝐒𝐻𝐸𝐡. Total population of around 52, both cats and dogs. They are fed on a daily basis. So one of the things I am greatly happy about is the impact that I'm hearing from people. Like before I began the whole spaying and neutering in 𝐒𝐻𝐸𝐡, there was a really bad situation. Like animals during the mating season were all like walking in crowds and were threats to people. There were threats to kids coming from school. But you can even hear people telling you like, thank you for doing this. It was very endangering. Most of the challenges that I face, especially when rescuing, is people. Like people do not comprehend why you're helping an animal, and sometimes it's tough. You can go to help an animal and people just refuse for you to help the animal. So sometimes I do incur some debts. Once in a while I do get donations from well-wishers, where somebody just rings you up and tells you, I've paid for a certain bag of food, you can go get it in this store. You never know the personality of the animal you're handling. Some dogs and cats are very feral, and they'll tend to, their first instinct will be attacking you. So I have suffered major bites. My hopes for the future is that one day I'll, like in the near future, get myself registered as an NGO. Another goal I have is to get a large space of land where I'll put a bigger sanctuary, like more than I have. Like the support I would need in this is mostly financially. Everything from when you pick an animal for the street, it's actually, apart from it being mentally exhausting, since at times I have to rush to the vet at midnight. So one day I hope I will employ my own in-house vet. There is a dog called Madia. Madia's owner died and she was basically living in the cemetery. It's a small family land where they converted it to a cemetery. So the owner died and I found Madia living there. She was hungry. She had recently given birth to 10 puppies, and she could not go out to fend for herself as other dogs were really picking on her. She can't look for food. She was breastfeeding. But yeah, I got to bring her to my place. The puppies were adopted. One of the other hardest stories I have had is of a dog called Hannah. I was actually coming from the vet to take another rescued dog, and on my way home there was traffic. Once we got closer to the cause of the traffic, it was actually the tiniest, thinnest puppy you have ever seen. She was the one who was causing the traffic. We just parked aside. I picked her up. After a few days at the vet, it was established she is actually fully blind, not even partially. Some people rescue a cat or a dog, and the first thing on the internet, they're looking for an organization or someone to take them in. Sometimes you can actually be a foster. You don't have to adopt the animal, you just have to rehabilitate it. So my hope for the future is that people will be responsible pet owners, and by that they'll really make a point to spay their animals, because animals basically on the street are brought by an animal giving birth countless times.